Tonight was the Indianapolis Law of Attraction discussion group. We meet every month at the Franciscan Hermitage in Indianapolis, Indiana, on East 46th Street at the beautiful spiritual center there. And that group has been there a long, long time, 20 years almost now. And we always have a lovely time. I just wanted to sit down and leave you a recording of a summary of what happened tonight. We all gathered there. We all began to talk about a certain subject, and that's the way it always goes. The people that end up showing up at the Law of Attraction group are attracted to one another for a reason. There's a certain question that they want answered. It usually has a general underlying theme that's similar. Tonight's theme was about looking at things from a different perspective in order to continue our manifestations, even when we are in the midst of unwanted occurrences and things in our lives. So, for example, one person came with some things that was happening in their life that they didn't want to have happen, and they just didn't understand why. It seemed as though they always had to get to the end of their rope before they could manifest what they want. And it was so empowering to hear someone bring that to the group in that way, because it's something all of us go through. At one time or another, we've tried really hard to manifest something, and it seemed like we just got to where we were pulling our hair out before it finally came. And what we discussed was there's another way to look at that. And that is that is a way to manifest. To push yourself until you are at your wit's end is one way that you successfully manifest. Think about it. You do end up getting it. It's just a struggle, it seems, to get there, or you're at the end of your rope, is what a lot of people say. So what we discussed in the group tonight was to look at that from a different perspective. And the different perspective is that you're doing well. You know now, we're here in this group discussing this tonight. Now that we're here in this group discussing it, you know you're doing the right thing. By pushing yourself to your limits, you somehow in your subconscious mind know that that works for you. Wonderful. That's great. But there's a better way, right? We don't have to do it this way. So instead, when we start to see signs of struggle, we can say to ourselves, you know what? I don't want this to get to the point that it's going to bring me to my wit's end to get this thing. I need to not procrastinate on the signs that I've seen that I need to take action. I need to not entertain things in my life that have a negative vibration to them. I need to be actively looking for signs of how I already have this manifestation. And it's this type of thinking, those three things that I mentioned, are really quick things to get you back on the right track again and not get yourself to the point where you have to push yourself in a corner in order to manifest something. That was one thing that we talked about tonight. Another thing that was brought up was how something bad, quote unquote bad, we don't usually talk in terms of good and bad, because it really is all good. It really is all going in a direction that will eventually be good for your life in one way or another. And but someone had come and said, some things had happened in my life. One person had brought up that they had gone to the dentist quite a bit. They had to have some dental surgeries, and they also their car broke down and they need to manifest a new car. And they said, I just don't understand why these bad things, quote unquote bad things, are happening to me. And so we took that and we tried to look at it from another perspective so that it can be seen that sometimes when these things happen in our lives, these occurrences that are unwanted happen, it could be happening because it is metaphorical in nature and not literal. And let me explain. For instance, the dental visits. All of these, surgeries in the mouth could be metaphoric and telling this person who it's happening to that they're not expressing themselves as they should. They need to be speaking their truth more. They're perhaps hiding what they feel and they need to express it instead. I don't know if that's the reason why this particular occurrence happened to this person, and I explained that in the group. However, it is something that you need to consider. And how you consider that is you just simply ask the question. You simply ask the universe, why is this particular occurrence happening to me right now? And you will begin to get answers. It sounds so simple to just ask, but I'm telling you, most of the time when things happen to us that are unwanted, we forget to ask why. We forget to ask what we want. We forget to ask for what we want. Oftentimes we just feel defeated. We can kind of get lost in complaining. Sometimes we can lose our way or think that the law of attraction is not working any longer, or we're just not doing something right, when in fact we're probably doing just fine. It just may be that you need to ask and look for a more metaphoric representation of what's going on instead of the literal. One other technique that we talked about tonight that I just wanted to highlight that I thought was great is when something unwanted happens to you, and it has to do with another person in your life. Let's say, you keep running into this person that you just are not getting along with. Or you have a confrontation with someone, didn't go well, trying to find your way, trying to figure out what happened. It's hard to find your way at times when emotions are high. So we all know that we need to manage our emotions. We need to try to stay calm, de-stress ourselves, all those great techniques. However, in order to get to the root of the issue of what's really going on and what's really being manifested and how this is best for you and how it is probably trying to help you figure out what you really want by showing you what you really don't want. The only way to figure these things out is to be able to see it from an observational standpoint. And that's really hard sometimes when you've been triggered, when it's someone that you're interacting with that really pushes your buttons. So the tip we talked about tonight, the technique we talked about tonight, was simply saying to yourself, repeating back to yourself, talking to yourself, telling yourself the story of what happened that was so upsetting to you in a way that leaves the other person out of the story. So let's say you are upset because of someone at work. A coworker came up to you, yelled at you for doing something incorrectly or something along those lines. When you retell that story to yourself, you leave the other person out of it and you say, what happened today is that I felt attacked, or I felt like it wasn't true what was being said about me. I felt unheard. When you go to retell the story to yourself and you leave the other people completely out of the story, it begins to focus on how you felt, what your emotions were. And that will tell you so much about what you're manifesting and what you really want. So as soon as it comes to your mind that you felt attacked or you felt like you were not heard, you know exactly what you want. You want to feel heard. You want to feel safe. You want things to feel more open. As soon as you know what you want and you put that out to the universe and you have a lot of passion behind it, it will happen for you. So, I hope these tips were helpful. Tonight was awesome. The people that came just had so much to say. We really went through and covered a lot of ideas, so many empowering things. There's success stories that were flying, and it was just fantastic. For more information about the success stories, please look at the Facebook page, Higher Awareness Arts. And for more information about these techniques, for more content, for more connection on the online Law of Attraction group that goes on once a month, please subscribe to the larger $20 package if you desire more content. Thank you so much for checking in, and I really wish you a great week.